Good evening. So I wanted to take you through an overview of D2L. And if you are watching this, then you have found the video. Um, so let's take a look at getting started. You see, we have, first of all, on our, actually, I got to look at it myself. If you look at the table of contents, over here we got overview. Let's start there. So overview is where you found this video. And this is your mid-residency course. And I have, because we've got so much to do, um, and I want to get it done, of course, all of it needs to be done before Residency 2, um, and we've got the holidays and everything. I came up with doing either um, a, oh, I'm sorry, um, we have a suggested timeline, and we have hard due dates. So basically there are two hard due dates. There's January the 6th and there's January the 13th. So a lot of the stuff that you'll be working on in the beginning is due January the 6th, and then the other things are due January the 13th. Just to kind of give you an idea about that, um, let's take a look at the course home. So here you can see that this is the suggested timeline. So if you go here to calendar and you click on go to calendar, this here will show you how you're expected to, I suggest that you go through the modules. This is the suggested timeline. But I didn't make it mandatory because I realize that there's a lot of people doing a lot of different things, and you might be traveling and away from internet. But you can see that a whole lot of stuff is due on the 6th, and a whole lot of stuff is due on the 13th. And of course, the 13th is the last day. If you follow the suggested timeline, it spreads the work out in a way where it won't be quite so overwhelming. A lot of the stuff that you do at the beginning, some of it is stuff that you've already done, but I don't want you to get overwhelmed. So we're looking here at the overview. We've talked about the suggested timeline, the hard due dates. It's important for you to know that there are some EdTPA guidelines for what we call acceptable candidate support. And one of the things that you have to remember is that the EdTPA, it sounds obvious, right? It's an assessment. So can you imagine if you were uh, you were teaching and it was a multiplication quiz, and a kid raised a hand and said, "Oh, Miss Smith, what's 3 times 5?" Well, you're not going to answer the question because this is an assessment, right? Yeah, did you hear my kitty cat? And so a lot of the stuff I really shouldn't and won't tell you because, first of all, it's against rules, but second of all, it's unethical. And I don't I don't think you need that from me. What I give you, instead of giving you feedback, is I give you a whole lot of support available to you to know how to organize your thoughts and to put it in writing. Because I believe that you know most of this stuff. Where people struggle sometimes is getting it down on paper. Your grade is an A today. No one has lost their A yet. So you're going to all start with an A, and you're going to keep your A unless you do some things that would cause you to lose your A. There are videos in every module, and most of them are pretty short. The longest one is 29 minutes, and they're very helpful because I go through the outline and discuss what you're supposed to do in answering the prompt. So if you don't use those videos, then it's going to be obvious. Not only that, but I can look to see uh, how many times you're visiting the modules and what you're looking at and watching the videos. I will also require, in order for you to keep your A, you need to use the outlines. Now, later on in writing the commentary, if you want to change up how you write it a little bit, that's fine. That right now, here in the beginning, we're going to use the outlines. They're provided for you, and I want you to use them. Um, and turning work in late. Um, so that means if you miss the January 6th deadline for the first group of assignments, and you can see here that there are several that are due on the 6th. Now, I have a suggested date that's earlier, but the hard deadline is January the 6th. So if you, on January the 7th, when I check for grades, if you have not turned those in, I'm going to start taking away 1 point per day for each assignment that's late. So you want to make sure that you don't have that problem. January the 13th, you can't be late because that means you've not gotten your stuff done. So don't wait until January 13th and try to do all this. It just can't be done. So another thing too, a lot of you know about our Facebook group, and if you've not joined, if you're on Facebook, I really hope that you will join, and because it's just a great way for us to stay in contact with each other and share. This is a course schedule. It kind of goes through pretty much what you see by using the calendar. So when we look at getting started, one of the things that I want you to do is make a notebook. So you've got to get organized, and you're not required to have this notebook ready until next semester. So I actually won't be checking for this notebook until the first night of seminar in Residency 2. So this tells you all about the notebook. There's a Word document here that tells you specifically what files I want in the notebook. And so you need to get like a 3-inch 3-ring binder. You might be able to do it with 2-inch, but a 3-inch, I think it gives you a little bit more space. You also need to organize your digital files, and so this link tells you how to do that. And she's got there's some good suggestions for organizing your digital files. And I want you to watch this video, and this woman describes how she organized her notebook, and she's got some really good examples. As far as what you need to put into your notebook, these folders here, these have your materials for literacy. Here's your literacy notebook material. So all of these things need to be copied and put into the notebook, and there's quite a few pages. So I think you've got like 150 pages. You can do front and back, but still, it's a lot of pages. Then you've got these digital materials. Now these, there's no sense in running copies of these. These are just going to be templates that you open up and write within them. And math, of course, theirs is here too. The math notebook materials are also here. What you need for your notebook. Okay? So after you've done that, the getting started, the module 1 is going to be task 1, project. Now, I've got this in module 1 just simply because you need to know about the project and get started on the project, because it is a project, but it's not really, I just didn't know what else to call it. I think project makes it sound like a bigger deal than it actually is. So I just didn't want to call it task 1 assignment. That didn't sound right. So it's kind of like a project. So you're going to read Making Good Choices, and that document is in the notebook, one of those links for the notebook. And you want to read your handbook, and there's pages there. And the pages may be a little off because you've got two different contents here, but basically those are the pages that are on task one. And then you're going to think of a way to present task one. So let's say you were seminar leader and you had to teach a group of students how to go about doing task one. So you can create a handout that you would give to students, maybe a graphic organizer. Um, and once you've created that handbook, if you want to take a picture of it and upload it onto our Facebook page, that'd be fantastic. You can also embed it. It needs to go into the Dropbox, so you might need to embed. I think a picture will go into the Dropbox, but it doesn't. You can always put the picture onto. So I'm thinking about a poster for the picture. But so you can do a handout or a poster. You can take a picture of the poster. You could do a picture of you holding the poster. Another shows the poster, and if you're having trouble, what I'm trying to get to is that if you have trouble posting a picture like that, like that kind of, I think those do go into D2L, but if they don't, then put it on a Word document, and then that'll go. Um, it's really be really fun if you would go live on Facebook and talk about your poster, or just talk about task two. And you can do it alone, or you can do it with someone else that you're friends with in class. Whatever you want to do. You could video record yourself like I do. So you could just use your cell phone camera for that matter. Um, you don't have to have but this is a screenomatic, or it's called something like that. What's it called? It is, I don't remember. Anyway, there's some online that are free. Um, you can make a PowerPoint. You can make an assessment. You can make a checklist or a graphic organizer. Just anything on some sort of instructional or assessment material that goes along with task one. And the reason I'm doing that is because I truly feel that in teaching something to something else, that's when our real learning occurs. Because I learned the most about the EdTPA when I started explaining it to other people. So that's going to be really beneficial to you. So posting your stuff on Facebook is not required. However, I do encourage it because, it's neat for people to see what you're doing. It's fun. Um, People can give you feedback. You can give each other feedback. So it's sort of like sharing it in class. But I understand if you're shy. But I do encourage you to do that. That's not due. My suggested completion date for that is December the 28th, but it's not due. The hard deadline's not till January the 6th. But as soon as you get one finished, go ahead and put it in the Dropbox or put it on Facebook. Module 2 is where we get into working on your Task 2 grid. Now, a lot of you came to the Task 2 workshop that I did. That was finding needles in a haystack. And in that workshop, you made a grid. Well, if you went to the workshop and if you have your grid with you, then you could just scan it and put it in the Dropbox. But I also am giving everybody a template that's blank, and it's a little, you could type it into the template, and it probably would look better than what we did in the workshop. If you didn't come to the workshop, then you're going to have to watch the video. Here's the video here, and it's an hour and a half long, but it won't take you an hour and a half because part of that hour and a half included time when the tables were talking with another. We had table talk. So you can scrub through part of that and work on it a little bit faster than that. Probably cut out, a good 30 minutes anyway, maybe 45. So there's a Task 2 grid example. You can look to see how special ed does it. I use theirs because you you can't copy it. It won't work for you. And here's the template. And then here's the assignment. So if you click this, this will take you directly to the Dropbox to put the assignment right there. Okay, so that is due. I suggest you have it done like soon, this week. Some of you can because you already have it done. But because it's good to have that done, we need to know what's in Task 2 so our lesson plans can reflect that. But the hard deadline, of course, is January the 6th. So Module 3 is Context for Learning. You've probably already completed that. You won't have any trouble probably meeting this suggested timeline of December 26th. So if I do want to make sure, though, that you use the most up-to-date template. I don't know what Ms. Hedberg had or Mr. Mooneyham or whoever you had. I don't know what they had on their D2L, so you want to make sure you've got the most up-to-date template. And if you don't, then you'll want to open up these templates and transfer your material onto these so that all are on the most up-to-date template. And then you submit it here for that assignment. And you can get that one done pretty quickly because you've already done it. And then Module 4. Module 4 are your lesson plans for the EdTPA. So you're going to upload your lesson plans, but first I want you to view this video called Modifying Lesson Plans for EdTPA Submission. And I also have the PowerPoint that goes along with it. This goes through the PowerPoint, and what it does is it tells you how to get those lesson plans condensed to 4 pages apiece without removing anything important. So it's a good thing for you to look at. My videos that I put in these modules, unless it's something like the Task 2 video that some of you have already seen, the videos are required. So I'll know if you're not watching them. It'll be obvious to me. So you need to make sure that you watch those. They're all short. And then after you have those lesson plan on all 4 lessons, or 3 or 4 or 5 lesson plans, however many you've got, as soon as you have all of those on one file, so you're not going to have 5 different files in the Dropbox. You're going to have one. And there's the assignment. You click on that, and it takes you right to the Dropbox. And here is Module 5. So one of the things that, as you're making your lesson plans, you're thinking about, the bell work that you're going to use, your graphic organizers, maybe some independent practice worksheets, but anything at all, PowerPoints that you use during instruction. If they're going to do a game, then maybe pictures of the game. And I know some of this may be at school and you don't have it, but it's better to go ahead and get together what you've got. Create the file, because I find it's easier to edit something than it is to create it to begin with. So we're going to get this underway just by getting it created. This gives you some real important information from your evidence chart that you can have 5 pages of key instructional materials per lesson plan. So if you have 3 lessons, you can have 15 pages of instructional materials on this one file. If you have 5 lessons, then you can have 25 pages. You want to submit all your materials in one file, and you want to label in each one, like which ones come from lesson 1, lesson 2, whatsoever, all that. So you want to either get them all in one document or scan them all in together. So like I said, our goal is to have this started. You're going to be changing and adding and developing instructional materials all the way up until the time that you actually teach the lesson. But it's good to get it started. The suggested due date is December the 30th. The hard deadline is January the 6th. Module 6 is where you're going to make the assessments. Um, so again, there's no page limit to our assessment file for EdTPA. You want to label the assessments by the corresponding lesson. You want anything at all with informal and formal assessments. Informal assessments, sometimes you can't really put them, but you could like list the questions you're going to ask in an informal assessment, or you could put, if you were playing a game for an informal assessment, you could put that on there. So again, it's our goal to have this started, and I fully expect that you'll be changing it. Suggested date for submission, December 31st, hard deadline, January the 6th. Now, once you get to Module 7, this is when you're going to start writing your planning commentary. So once you have your context for learning, your lesson plans, and your instructional materials and assessment, that plus your knowledge of students, you're ready to start writing the planning commentary. So you need to watch the video first, how to write the planning commentary, prompts 1A and 1B. It's a very short video. There's an outline that I go over in the video, and there are examples of some of the prompts that people have turned in. Here's this document right here just shows the outline without all the bells and whistles that are in this. And then here's where you put it in the assignment. So what you'll need to do is find your planning commentary template. This is the math one. This is the literacy one. You'll want to open it, and you'll want to write within the brackets. So I'm going to see if I can get one open here. So you'll want to download this onto your computer, and see these brackets? That's where you type. You type within the brackets. Don't remove any of the numbers or the letters or the bullets. Just type within the brackets. And you're going to be using this template all the way through for the next several assignments. You'll just constantly be pulling this template back out. First we'll do 1A and 1B, and then next you'll do 1C, and then next you'll do 2, and so on and so forth. So there's your templates. I wanted to show you also these support materials. So sometimes I've got many, many different kinds of students, right? I have some that really want to make sure everything is as perfect as they can get it, and my overzealous ones and perfectionist ones, and love you guys, you're awesome, but boy, you're killing yourself too young. And I've got others who just, aren't good writers, and that's okay. You don't have to be a good writer to be a good teacher. You didn't choose to be a writer. So for whatever reason, if you feel like you need a little more support than what's offered by looking at the outlines, this, for instance, is an assets organization chart, and it's really good helping you take what you know about the students. And this would be a good thing for you to do prior to, working on like prompt 2, because it talks about students' everyday experiences and that sort of thing they start asking about in prompt 2. And I've got it actually in this module, so it may not be in the place where it seems logical, but I just thought it was good to put all the supports together, and I wanted to have them early. This is a teaching, assessing, and planning chart. This is a good way for you to make sure you've got the continuity and the alignment that you're hoping to have in your learning segment. And this other thing that I'm going to show you, these are called thinking organizers, and they're a little daunting, but some people find them more useful than the outlines. Oh shoot. When that happens, you just need to download them. And I'm not going to try to do that, but these right here, what they are is that this thinking organizer, when you open it, it's a Word document, and you can type within it, and it's got a graphic organizer for every single prompt on the EdTPA. So that might be useful to you. Okay, Module 8 then. Module 8 is for 1C, and there's the video and the assignment. There's also the PowerPoint just on the outline. Then you've got Module 9, and Module 9 has 2 assignments in it. So Module 9 has 2 assignments, and that's important to keep in mind. 2 assignments. You've got prompts 2 and 3 discussed on one video. Then you use this outline to write this prompt on this assignment, and you use this outline to write this prompt on this assignment. Okay, and then you've got Module 10, and again, this is 2 assignments in one module. Now, if you're struggling with academic language, if you really feel like this is a weakness, I highly recommend that you go ahead and take the time right now over Christmas to rewatch that video, Demystifying Academic Language, and there's the link. So we got 4A, B, and C, and 4D. So this is how to write prompt 4. This is the video for all of prompt 4. Then you use the outline to complete this assignment, and then you use this outline to complete that assignment. Module 11. So Module 11 is writing prompt 5. Again, video, outline, assignment. And then you have Module 12. Module 12 is you have written, once you've written Module 11, prompt 5 and Module 11, you will have answered all the prompts. And now you want to put them together. And I have a video here on how to check your work using the Understanding Rubric Level Progression. This also tells you some important information about making sure that you have everything set up the way it should be. So you submit the whole thing, and I realize you will have been submitting the whole thing each time you submit. The difference is that this is the final copy where you have gone through and checked your work and edited and that sort of thing. And that takes us down here. We have this right here is just the Demystifying Academic Language video. This is the differentiation. If you need a refresher on adding supports to your lessons. Here's some other information, just a couple of things. I may add other stuff as the class goes on. This is my link for my EdTPA resources website, which, I would love it if you would use, because I've got stuff here, writing support, this right here, theory and rationale. These right here are great links. It tells you learning theories. Of course, everything's slow today. So this, all of these fantastic theories. Look at that. All kinds of great stuff. Look at that. Experiential learning. Multiple intelligences. I love this website. And, just all kinds of cool stuff. I've got stuff just for elementary education. I've got things on academic language, diversity, just all kinds of good stuff for you. Getting started. So, Lots of good stuff. I'm constantly working on this thing and working on it. Okay, so um, everything that we've gone over is what you're going to be doing this semester. There are a total of 140 points, and turn things in on time. Watch the videos. Do your hardest, and you'll keep your A. And I know that you're stressed and a little anxious, but you can do this. And remember, it's an elephant, but we can eat an elephant just one bite at a time. And you're awesome. And hang in there. And I shall see you soon.